Hey everyone, welcome back to Right Media Group Chronicles. We dive into stories behind successful agencies, the wins, the lessons, and everything in between, so you can build smarter and grow faster. Today, I am joined by Emanuel Rose, founder and CEO of Strategic E-Marketing. Emmanuel, it is a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for having me here to have a conversation with you, Jolanta.
Awesome. So previously we had a chat as well, and we talked about you writing books and especially children's books. So I mean, it's crazy to do that and also run an agency and also run two podcasts on the side. So I'm really sort of wondering, how do you manage all of it?
Well, that's a good question. I think part of it is I've automated and continue to automate as much as possible within the agency. So that's the biggest contributor to, especially like on the podcast side. There's three places where we have human intervention, and the rest of it is automated. So took what was 10 hours of work down to about an hour.
Wow, incredible. Do you also provide automation services for your clients, or do you just do it in your own agency?
Yeah, we also support our clients with automations and dashboards and AI implementation from all the way from strategic planning all the way through custom software.
Emmanuel, would you mind to just sort of dive deeper into your agency? Is there a specific industry that you serve, and what sort of services do you provide for them?
Yeah, so my company is called Strategic E-Marketing, and we've been providing B2B digital marketing for about 17 years now. And so we act either as an outsourced marketing department, as we do for some of our clients, or we just take on part of the marketing, like SEO or pay-per-click or something like that. So we have a very scalable solution, customized what needs to happen for the client situation.
I mean, we just joined in on Zoom behind the context, but I saw you had digital marketing in the age of AI. Sort of loved that. Is that an approach you take with your agency?
Yeah, so definitely the AI avalanche that we're experiencing is a big driver in things, and we're helping clients look at their internal processes, but then also things like answer engine optimization and how you optimize for ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini. And so I wrote a book about that, and I built some software tools for that. And so I am committed to helping people understand how to adopt this technology in a way that is additive and part of our infrastructure rather than time waster and a shiny thing.
I mean, you have been in the industry for a really long time. I mean, it changes constantly. What is the biggest shift you've seen in the marketing space?
Well, I mean, it started with websites, and then it went to social media, and now we're in AI. Each one of these kind of bubbles is its own unique experience in some ways, but in other ways it is very identifiable, and you can be very tactical and structured about it, and that's why I built I wrote a book called the Agentic Pivot, and it outlines a 10-step process for adopting AI into the organization as infrastructure.
Oh, wow, incredible. Can you give us any highlights of the book?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the first thing that sometimes we lose sight of is what is the grand vision for how AI is going to impact our business, right? Is it going to be that I'm going to 10x my sales? Is I'm going to keep my staff size the same but still grow? You know, we need to have this great vision, or a big, hairy, audacious goal, as Jim Collins calls it. And so we have that big goal, then we have to go through the process of governance and make sure that we're bringing IT to the forefront and training our people on how to use the AI correctly and not give up our intellectual property, for instance. And then, so there's a governance piece to it, and then we look at the strategic planning and making sure that we have a kind of a strike team or a group of people who are going to help implement it inside the organization, who are very tech forward. And from there, then we can start to look at some use cases and then start to build standard operating procedures on paper that then we can mimic with software. And so that all works only if you have good data, right? And we've heard this a lot, which is we got to get our data together and get the data lakes organized so that the APIs and the agents can interact correct with good data and get good outcomes. The biggest thing is that we always have humans in the loop. We always have to have these checkpoints to make sure that the hallucinations and the bad actions are caught and retrained into the system so that it's actually working on our behalf instead of us working on its behalf.
Yeah, you previously mentioned something very important in our chat, the human emotions, and unfortunately AI still not getting there, and I'm guessing that's when you have that human interaction.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Absolutely. Also, I love to build custom GPTs, and I have some standard documents inside those custom GPTs that are around neuropsychology, that are around the hero's journey, and then training the GPT to have some amount of compassion for the human experience with some other documents.
Yeah, I mean, absolute sounds incredible because it's definitely a trend now. AI. I think it will stay here, but I don't know if you noticed, but by speaking to marketing agencies, I get two sides. I get people that are very enthusiastic about AI, and some that are not, and are sort of against using AI.
Yeah. Well, to be against using AI would just be say like I don't have a Facebook page because I don't want anybody to know about me. So it is upon us, and we have to decide how we use that tool.
It's just a tool, end of the day. Yeah, you are absolutely correct.
And what I'm seeing is phenomenal. I have agents now that I've created that go and crawl the internet and LinkedIn and find podcast guests for me, and then emails them a link to my calendar. And so in that respect, it is a very useful tool in that it is allows me to reallocate that time from my team to other more important activities. So
Yeah.
going to be able to explain that to me.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned that you saved over 10 hours, right? Because this is not something you no longer need to do manually. What would you say is really working in the agency right now? I mean, obviously AI is one thing. Is there anything else?
Oh, I think what we're doing right now, podcast, both starting podcasts and podcast guesting,
Mhm.
in this avalanche of content, it's important that the brand voice is heard from an actual human, and that we continue to have conversations with people and build our networks and build our referral sources and show the humanity of the brand and the business.
Yeah, I mean, podcasting is something I never look back on, and anyone who's interested in starting a podcast, I support them all throughout the journey because it's incredible. You just mentioned all the benefits, right? Of podcasting, builds a personal brand. You get to talk to wonderful people like yourself. You get to pick their brain and their experience in their business journey as well. It's so invaluable. Yeah. Yeah. So would you say there's anything that's frustrating in the agency space right now?
I think the consistent things is always client churn, right? That's a challenge that we're always facing, and so it's some clients get they get distracted and they think that they can do it better themselves and they're going to bring it in house, and so for whatever reason, marketing is part of the business world where people think they can just do it themselves, especially solopreneurs. And so there's always a push-pull of we're going to do it ourselves and we're going to hire an agency. Agency does some work, they're not totally happy, and then they bring it back in-house. So, that's the current frustration for me right now.
And if this stayed the same for like 6 months, would you say it has an impact, or it's not that huge of an impact right now, but it is something that you're trying to conquer? Yeah, yeah, of
And
course.
it's not easy hiring agencies. I mean, I hire people to do work for me, cold email and some other things. And I know as the business owner, I have big expectations for whoever it is that I'm hiring. So we really work on over communicating, over availability, over reporting, so that the clients feel like they have a good sense of what we're doing on their behalf and what the goals that they've laid out.
Yeah, you just talked about that churn and making sure there's enough people coming in to cover that pretty much. What channels are you currently utilizing to bring in more clients to the agency?
Well, let's see. I have 3 podcasts and
Really?
very
What
active.
three channels? What?
So I added Behind the Podcast Mic was all about podcasting, and I actually had a couple people on who were getting ready to start podcasts. So those are really fun conversations.
Yeah.
One that's called Nature Bound, which is all about the children's books and
Mhm.
getting people inspired to be outside, and then of course the marketing one. So we put energy into that, which then turns into really great content, marketing content, and then we have pay-per-click ads. We have an email list of about 7,000 business people that we market to consistently, and then I have agents now that I've trained that are going out into the internet and finding CEOs and marketing CMOs and making offers for appointments and to review a report that I generate that's about AI in their industry.
Also, doing them podcasts, I'm sure it brings inbound leads as well because you're pretty much out there bringing value, experience, opinions. So that's also in of itself like a lead magnet, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. It's fun to have these conversations and meet people like yourself, and yeah, it does end up bringing people to the Amazon to buy books and to my websites in order to have meetings about marketing.
Do you mind to dive a little bit deeper into AI, specifically maybe anything recent that's like exciting for you or maybe something that you've done for your clients?
Yeah, we're doing lots of really cool stuff. One of the things is I built some software that helps people identify their standard operating procedures. So not super exciting, but it's an elemental part of a business that you have people on your team who do activities, and this walks those people through the process of identifying what actions they're taking, and then we're able to strip out the things that the software should be doing. So that's been a fun implementation. Also, we built a piece of software that was like a project reference tool so that as executives were having these ideas about what to do for the company, they would fill out a form, and then it creates a one-page summary for the CEO to review and kind of yes, no, move it on or kill it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's cool. And
These are
then
absolute game changers. I mean, I speak to agency owners all the time, and some of them think LLMs, like language models, is AI when there's so much more potential, which I'm trying to bring awareness out there as well. Like you can automate workflows, like you're saving 10 hours for your agency. You're doing these incredible things for your clients, which saves so much time in the long run. It's an absolute game changer.
yeah, it's a powerful thing. We look at things and we say, well, what can we just automate, right? Like Zapier
Yeah.
and Make is a great automation activity. And then where do we actually create software that is agentic in nature in order to take and carry the ball, so to speak? The voice is another spot where we're really having a lot of fun in terms of doing accounts receivables calls. We're also using voice for appointment verification and then an entire phone system. So I have a startup called privacy.ai, and we didn't get a phone number. We just got a phone number so we could have the voice AI answer the phone for us.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. Incredible. Yeah. I mean, there's sort of that balance that you need to find as well with business owners I've spoken to. Because sometimes you just end up wasting time because it's all these shiny objects, as you clarified too, and you just you're getting distracted rather than focusing on what really is important. How can I save money and save time? Is there any steps that you would recommend through the journey you had with AI?
Yeah, I think it really is to follow a bit of a structured system that I lay out, and I'm not the only one who's created a structure for it. So, but this idea that you have a big goal and you do some strategic planning around it, and then start to break out your SOPs, and you say what use cases is the AI best for, and it is for connecting other pieces of software. So anything that you're clicking around to do tasks consistently, that is something that should be done by software. It should not be done by a human. So those are the kind of what people call low-hanging fruit for auto.
Is there anything that you wish could be automated but you still haven't?
Well, we have a big list of what needs to be automated. I think it's more around the project management and the flow of content between creatives. That's kind of what we're working internally on all the time, so that these dependencies, as one person finishes, then the next person gets it, and down the line. We're always buffing out the brand books and the exclusion words and ICPs, so that if there was a way that I think that's probably a good one, would be that the AIs would make recommendations based on profiles that are clicking and interacting with the website, and then updating the ICPs and brand book for us so that it's a dynamic living being rather than static.
Yeah, and just collecting that data and making decisions based off of that. Wow. So talking about scaling the agency, you seem to be in a very sort of comfortable position, you're happy with, where you are heading with AI and with your clients. So throughout your journey, would you say there is a specific challenge, something that people underestimate when trying to scale? Is there any advice that we can get out there for, people that are looking to scale and
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The onboarding process really should start right, and
okay.
that, so from the first sales conversation, that you're onboarding all the way through every meeting, so that there's as little friction as possible for the client as far as training up the agency, right? Because it takes some time to understand not the brand and the brand book, but the people that you're interacting with from the company. And so we want to capture all that information and make sure that it's accessible both to the humans and to the AI.
Yeah, incredible advice there. That's something we believe in as well. We're all about human connection. We don't believe direct pitching is something that works anymore for marketing agencies and for other businesses out there because we're all getting messaged and being sold to on the first email when they haven't even gotten on a conversation with us.
Yeah, right.
And,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of bad marketing out there, right? A lot of transactions.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't even know what is it that they're struggling with? What is their journey they are currently in that you can help them? And you're already pitching something that might not even be something they're looking for.
That's
The
spray and pray. That's not good
pray
marketing.
and pray. Yeah, that's the correct analogy there. With regards to, I mean, we're in 2026 now. To growth, is there any specific growth or anything you're looking forward to in this new year to implement in your agents or maybe for your clients?
Yeah, I mean, this is for me. This is the year of the agent, and there's filing platforms that exist that have learning agents and are able to go and do the work that needs to happen on behalf of outbound and then also internally inside the system. I mean, you can now deploy agents inside behind a firewall, not even connected to the internet, and they can do work for you on your behalf. And so I think that's really, for me, I'm going to continue to pioneer and continue this agentic pivot for myself and for the agency, and then continue to bring that into my client work as well.
And if there's one thing you could fix in your agency, something that's slowing down growth, what would it be, if anything? Because you seem pretty optimized to me.
Yeah, one of the agents I just am completing is looking for salespeople. So it's gonna go out and comb for salespeople. So I'm kind of the sales bottleneck still in the organization, and
Oh, really? Do
that's
you
what
not
I'm.
like sales?
Oh no, I love it, but that part of the growth is that there's got to be more than just me
Of
doing
course.
doing that work.
Yeah, that's actually another sort of question then. How do you pass on that years of knowledge that you have with sales?
Well, I'll build a custom GPT. That's the first thing,
You will, yeah. You
and
know what?
then
You can even have Emmanuel AI and with all of your knowledge fed into it. I'm sure you know the potential.
yeah, absolutely. I have a couple like that. One that's a content generator, and then also I built a really cool GPT that takes the Zoom recordings of the sales calls, and then it builds the proposals in a good,
Wow.
better, best model, complete with an executive summary and a bunch of other stuff. So automating some of that stuff. I mean, proposals sometimes can take 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I have a draft in 25 seconds, and then I can clean it up and email it very quickly. So that's something I
Wow.
will share. I'll share with the salespeople I bring.
Yeah. Is there any message you want to put out to the audience? And any sort of biggest lesson you learned along the way?
Yeah, the biggest thing is stay focused on the fundamentals of marketing. We're talking to human beings. We're listening to their aspirations or their problems, and we're trying to provide a solution that's going to get them an outcome. And we have to honor that part of the business process and all the marketing that we do.
Yeah. Emmanuel, thank you so much for making the time for this podcast.
I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for the insightful questions.
If people wanted to connect with you to find out more about your services, where should they look?
They can Google Emanuel Rose or just go to emmanuelrose.com or strategicemarketing.com or track me down on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you, Emmanuel. For anyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And you can comment down below with a favorite takeaway from Emmanuel as well. Thank you so much.